PC Declan Jones. You may remember him from such highlights as this. And this. Well, West Midlands Police Constable Declan Jones was actually jailed for the two assaults after being found guilty and jailed for 6 months. When 30-year-old Jones was released from prison, it said that he was trying to make a new start in October last year after serving just 3 months of his sentence, but was apparently affected by several extremely stressful events. It was said in court that Declan Jones was arrested on Christmas Day evening last year over another matter, and on Boxing Day his girlfriend dumped him, as well as facing more criminal charges relating to when he was a serving copper. So basically the two events that you've just seen weren't the only offences he committed whilst a serving police constable. What a surprise. On the 26th of December, paramedics were called to his address over his depression, but they decided he wasn't a suicide risk even though he had consumed cocaine and alcohol. However, a post-mortem ruled that the consumption of those did not contribute to his death. 2 days later, paramedics were called again, where they found Declan being cradled in his parents' arms after he had taken his own life. Now, let me be very clear here. I'm heartbroken for the parents. Nobody should have to see their children die, but this is entirely his own doing. Although I feel for the parents, I'm not the least bit upset that a corrupt and violent man has been removed from this earth. Jones was supposed to be standing trial for another incident in October this year, although as yet I don't know for sure what the offence was. Although, based on what his girlfriend says in a minute, it could have been drink driving. At the inquest into his death this week, Coroner Ms Murphy said death was a deliberate act by the deceased. He had undergone a number of extremely stressful events through his life recently. The end of the relationship with a girlfriend, he clearly loved her much. A further incident with the police matters, outstanding with the Independent Office for Police Conduct, and he'd recently served a custodial sentence, having formerly been a police officer. She added he was concerned of a further alleged offence, and that if convicted he would receive a custodial sentence. He'd previously been a police officer and dismissed from the force. He was worried that due to media coverage, he feared he wouldn't have a fair hearing. Now, Declan's ex-girlfriends told the court that on Christmas Day evening, Jones was returning home from a friend's in Redditch. She was tracking his movements on her mobile phone, but said he stopped in a road in Bromsgrove for around 15 minutes. She said he was texting me when I thought he was in a taxi. I rang him and a police officer told me they were with Declan. Following that, I decided to end the relationship. Before going to prison, Mr. Jones had twice threatened to kill himself. In the days before being found dead, he had messaged his girlfriend that they would all be better off without him, and he had also talked of suicide again. Now, I honestly didn't think he'd do it, as he was such a proud person, she said. Since being released from prison with a tag, it said he got a job with a local civil engineering firm and started playing rugby again. We feel there is a big gap in the provision of mental health in the community, said Declan's dad. We have dealt with a number of organisations and felt ignored, not listened to, and somehow unimportant. Declan Jones had denied causing actual bodily harm at Birmingham Magistrates Court in October last year, when he got found guilty. Now, I'm not going to joke about this. I'm not going to make fun of his death. I am, however, going to say that had I not covered the incidents prior to this, then I wouldn't have even bothered bringing this to your attention. It simply doesn't deserve it. But as I say, I feel for the family, but for the thuggish piece of crap, there is no better place for him to be other than to be not around people.